Alright, so today everyone's favorite pimp slapping duck is gonna have his time today in the Monster Hunterverse. But here's the catch. We ain't using no average duck. We're not using Donald Duck. We're not using Howard Duck or the big duck himself. We about to use the Arc version. We about to use Arc's version of Deinocheirus today. And believe it or not, even the traditional Deinocheirus definitely has a good track record of being able to really hold its own against Tarbosaurus and likely Alioramus every now and then. Even though Alioramus probably would likely target its children. Unfortunately, but hey, it is what it is. But today we are actually going to see if, well, good old Duck Bill, good old Duck Hands himself, the uppercut Mike Tyson King, can actually do it. So let's talk about the stats, right? How strong is the Deinocheirus? What does it eat? What is it able to, do and stuff like that? Well, believe it or not, in the old game, Deinocheirus actually was pretty broken. And even in the new one, yeah, he still is pretty broken. These guys are in the same tier as the Rexes and Acros and even Spinos of the game, excuse me. These guys are absolutely monstrous. Now, they actually do possess an ability where they are able to uppercut some of the dinosaurs. Now, in the vanilla arc or the original Ark Survival Evolved, the mod actually allowed you to uppercut anything to the size of a Carno. Ceratopsians were a little bit difficult. But apparently in this game, which I hope that I'm able to show you, you're actually not able to uppercut a Triceratops. So obviously something that has a bit more mass isn't going to, get sent flying like a feather and stuff like that. But again, these guys were strong enough to uppercut the living heck out of a Carnotaurus. No if and or buts about it. These guys were the Mike Tysons of Ark itself. Now, how were they originally able to be tamed? Now, back in the vanilla Ark, they were actually passive tames. Yeah, these guys were able to be tamed by a combination of multiple vegetables put together, and you would have to put on ghillie armor and passively feed them. It was actually better if you also had the red panda buff as well, which allowed them to kind of, you chill with the red panda and stuff like that. So we chill with you. You actually had to have a couple things to actually go for it. But in current games, you would actually have to baby nap. Yeah, you gonna have to steal the baby. I'm sorry. It is what it is. So if you ever get this mod, just to let y'all know, it's additional creatures to Wild Ark, and it's definitely one of my favorite Ark mods here. I have Cedarosaurus and Giga Titan on Scorched Earth and stuff like that, and Ogre Donners just raid my base. Yeah, they're such a wonderful thing, aren't they? But I'm definitely going to be doing or getting Ogre Donners on Ragnarok and stuff like that. So yeah, I'll be expecting that. But yeah, these guys are absolutely goated when it comes down to it. These guys are capable of handling the Rexes, Spinos, and I guess you can say if you get a good level one, you could probably take on a Giga. But again, I'm not gonna try that. I get way too attached to my creatures and stuff like that. So I can't do it. I love all my creatures with all my heart. But in all honesty, the location you can find them are in the swamps on the island and even in the redwoods as well. I prefer you guys get them in the redwoods, as we'll probably lure them out the redwoods or get them across the redwoods and then take care of them from there. But again, you do have to baby nap these guys, so be careful when you do that. But with that being said, what location are we going to put them in? Considering they are comfortable in things like the swamps and more or less the wetland areas of, Ark, even the vanilla areas, they were actually found in like the red forest area at the bottom in the Crystal Isles and stuff like that. So yeah, these guys are comfortable in like marsh and wetland like areas of Monster Hunter. So with that being said, I actually do think that the Deinocheirus will definitely be comfortable in Monster Hunter's wetlands, marshlands, and etc. So we are going to use a composite region for this, and we actually are going to be discussing how they would basically survive, Do I think they would need to really adapt in order to change? In all honesty, no. I think they are fine just the way they are. And if they do, well, it probably won't be too much of a drastic change. I'll probably say they get just a little bit more muscle mass. Now, what did Deinocheirus eat? Now, they actually are able to harvest and eat all forms of berries. This means they are able to eat the narcos, the azure, the ama, the tino, and the stem berries and stuff like that. And again, in Ark, you also had to make them a special vegetable combination, so they are able to eat things like citrus fruit, squash, carrots, lettuce, all of it. They're able to eat all assortments of food. And again, with the whole vegetable combination, they're able to eat a mash of it. So in Monster Hunter, there are actually plenty of fruits, vegetation, and various other things. And in all honesty, I think it would be funny to actually see them like walk up to a village, steal their plants, and then just walk off like nothing happened. Like, did we just get robbed by a powerful pimp slapping duck? Yes, you did. What you gonna do about it? Nothing. Exactly. Now, when it actually comes to competition for their food, I can actually see a few creatures, giving them a hard time for it, especially when it comes to the likes of fruits and other vegetations, considering the fact that they really want to have a qualm eating, I guess you could say, fruits, nuts, and anything else. And considering back then they were able to harvest like meat, I would probably say they would eat smaller creatures or maybe a little bit of carrion. But again, that was back then. Now they're just simply herbivorous. But again, considering I will be kind of keeping that, I do think adding carrion to the list means they would definitely be able to scavenge. So with that being said, they have everything set for them going in Monster Hunter. However, with that being said, and this is up from the depths version of the Deinocheirus, which even though I do like the Wilds Ark version, I definitely would get this one. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. As for competition and possibly prey as well, I could definitely see them going and killing bull drones. Because again, I mean, what's the point of intimidation when you could just uppercut your competition and just send them flying? So things like Bullfango, Bulldrome, Gypsaros, Aptonoff, Slagtoth, and stuff like that, they would all be bullied off of their residential feeding spots. And keep in mind that Gypsaros is omnivorous, eating small invertebrates and even, some fruits and vegetation. Congalala is also another one. Obviously, I do think it actually has the best chance at competition, or at least getting away from the Deinocheirus if it does decide to get a little slappy or Mike Tyson-y, if you will, and would actually just use its farts in order to escape. I swear I hate this monster with a passion, but I love the drip. Now, when it comes to Duramboros, yeah, this is where competition's actually pretty even. Or at least even in terms of the fact that they can easily, get the other to back off. But again, Duramboros in a head-to-head fight would kill Deinocheirus. Definitely get some scratches on it and definitely some wounds, but it would definitely it would kill it. It's a Devil Joe killer, so it's likely going to take maybe a ram or maybe a tail whip or stuff like that. Plus the way matter of fact, the fact that this thing is able to get airborne in general is absolutely ridiculous. Bro, what was Capcom thinking? This thing could literally cartwheel slap you with that tail. This dude had to be a champion in the Monster Hunter Olympics back then. I don't care what you say. Any bull that can do this, I would be terrified of. I would never fight this thing again. Nah. The fact that he was even pulling this off is absolutely ridiculous. But believe it or not, in terms of competition, Deinocheirus really would have it easy. Not many of the other creatures like Yunkutku and even Yangaruga would honestly be able to mess with it. Yangaruga, on the other hand, may try to snatch up its chicks, and well, it'll get the Mike Tyson special, a good old right uppercut. So with that being said here, now we have to talk about predators. Believe it or not, I really don't see too many creatures hunting down a Deinocheirus. It would probably be Rexes, Spinos, and a decent pack of Allosauruses that would be able to hunt and even take down a Deinocheirus. Spinosaurus 50-50. a lone Rex versus a lone Deinocheirus 50-50. However, considering the fact they can travel in groups and we are putting a decent group of them in Monster Hunter or a decent breeding population, yeah, I think they would definitely be able to defend each other from predators. Rathian is likely to snatch up juvenile and even infant Deinocheiruses. I don't really see her going for the adult. Rathian is way too smart and calculated to be pulling off that, I guess you could say, that kind of nonsense with creatures that can literally just hit her with an uppercut and likely send her flying a little bit. I'd probably say she definitely gets reeled back. But again, in a full-on confrontation to the death, I can definitely see Rathian beating an adult Deinocheirus mid to high difficulty. She is one of the lower tier apexes or sub apexes, if you will. And well, yeah, I think the poison could definitely do it. Deinocheirus really doesn't have a full-blown or flat-out resistance to it, so they would be able to do it. Now, another threat I could definitely see to their younger ones are definitely Nerscylla. Nerscylla really doesn't tackle larger monsters or monsters that are larger than her, but considering the fact that they do prey on the likes of Congalala, Gypceros, and I do think Rompopolo as well, as they are the perfect prey animals for Nerscylla. Bad eyesight, poisonous skin that could easily be a good deterrent for other predators, and just, in all honesty, just flows naturally. So, yeah, Nerscylla is definitely going to be able to snatch up a Deinocheirus infant or two, and I would definitely say she drags it off, maybe even skins it. Because, I mean, these guys can skin Genprey, which are very interesting, and still fit it over them. Like, I'm not even sure how that even works. But now, onto the big guy, Deviljho. I think it's obvious he's going to be their main predator. I think Deviljho, Anjanath, and Aborogu are all the monsters that would actually be, in even all honesty, fit the criteria and even the ecosystem or ecological predators that a Deinocheirus would have to face. And keep in mind, with the fact that Deinocheirus does live near more wetland areas, they could likely use the deeper waters to escape. But then again, this could have them in trouble with leviathans like Urthaduna, Lagiacris, and maybe even Baruga-Guru. Baruga-Guru is really known to target the likes of poison-based monsters, and, you know, does go for the drones and the greats and stuff like that. So maybe not, but definitely Lagiacris, Urthaduna, and if it runs into an Elder Dragon like Namiel because of its water-like habits, you already know it's cooked. Yeah, there's no way. Deviljho is just a manageable predator at the very least. They can easily get away from it in water, or at least in deeper waters, but if Deviljho decides that it can get one just in time, it's definitely going to snatch up an injured Adel or, you know, get one by surprise. So, yeah. But again, that's why I think the Deinocheirus' evolution would just have to be more physical based. I don't really see them evolving completely. I think the best way they can actually adapt to the environment is just simply bulk up and power up, or, you know, just get stronger physically, because again, I do think they would learn that, okay, we need to do something around here in order to really maintain a decent population. So I think Deinocheiruses would definitely become the more dominant life form type niches. They would become bigger, they would become stronger, and their bodies would probably have more dense feathering on them, and likely be able to maybe bend some type of ailment. I don't know. They would probably just be strong enough to pull maybe a Kuliaku. You know, maybe they'll just take boulders and log them at, you know, Deviljhos and stuff like that. And I actually think that would be a very good way for them to defend themselves completely from Deviljho. But in all honesty, that is going to end it for today. Oh, wait, I forgot. Let's actually talk about their interactions with the guild. I definitely could see the guild doing the more passive method than just straight up baby napping. Albeit, I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, a guild agent or a guild hunter, excuse me, came across a baby Deinocheirus and just simply adopted it. And then next thing you know, you got your own combat mount Deinocheirus, and they can even handle a lot of transportation and harvesting needs that the guild would honestly, I think the guild would definitely take it, considering the fact that, you know, they do kind of struggle getting their materials from point A to point B without actually being, you know, targeted by a darn monster. But overall, I actually do think Deinocheirus will be able to survive Monster Hunter. In terms of difficulty, I would probably say initially high difficulty, but once they evolve, they definitely form a mid difficulty niche in Monster Hunter. They can easily fit the herbivorous niche and definitely fit the dominant life form niche. But that's going to be all today. Please comment down below, like and subscribe and share with your friends. This is Legendary Grimlock, and I'll see you guys for another video. Peace.